Hey, welcome to November. Here we are in month 11, finding ourselves ready for holiday festivities. A lot of good stuff today, a lot of new people to welcome, and a very special guest star providing value today. So let's get to it and welcome our new agents who have joined us for the end of October. We have Nick. If you see these faces around, Celeste, give them a happy hello on Zoom. Shout them out. Susan, welcome to the family. Bahar, nice to have you. Catherine. Christiana. Maria. I think that's it. Oh, Leanna. And Nicole. Oh my gosh, Nicole goes by Nikki. So you guys, welcome all of our new friends to the Metro fam and say hello when you see them around. Make them feel welcome on Zoom because that's what we do. And yeah, I'm excited to have so many fresh faces joining us this month and starting their exciting new businesses with us. Let's go to bucket fills. Who has a bucket to fill today?
I do. I just wanted to, can you hear me? Okay?
Yeah, yep.
Great. My bucket fill goes out to Ed. Ed always been there.
We could hear you and now we can't hear you, but I know what you're saying is Ed is awesome and always comes through with all the greatest of everything. And maybe you want to type bullet points in the chat box so we can hear your bullets, but we hear you're shouting out to Eddie, and thank you for that, Nikki.
Thank you.
Who else? No, mute her. Nikki, we'll pull you out. We'll pull you out when you come back on. Turn your video off and try then. Then it works better sometimes. No.
Sarah, I've muted actually on my end, so I'm not sure exactly what's happening.
I think I see it, Evie. I think maybe she's on delay. Oh, there she goes.
Mute all, even and open everybody back up. It needs to be open.
Wow, that was exciting. That was a lot of goodness. Eddie.
DSL sucks.
She was so excited to, thank you and fill your bucket that we just broke the universe for a moment. But we're back. Who else wants to fill a bucket?
I have a bucket fill, and I don't know if she's online. I wanted to fill Heather Daly's bucket because she has really kind of taken a huge proactive stance towards her business. She's been reaching out to agents in the office to get feedback and to collaborate with, and I know she's looking into coaching. I'm just really, really proud of what she's doing for her business this year, and it's great to see her really take action. So Heather, if you're here, if you listen to this later, kudos to you. I love to see what you're working on.
Thank you for that, Amy. That is such an awesome sentiment, and she is crushing it, reaching out, asking all the right questions, and building that business. You guys, it's all possible. Lean on each other because that's what we're here for, to help you grow. We have time for one more. If anybody else wants to shout it out today, no pressure. Go ahead, Mark Miller.
I want to shout out to all of our TCs and TAs at the brokerage. You guys are doing a fantastic job, and you have to deal with some pretty strenuous situations sometime. So thank you for all your work. That's my bucket fill.
Thanks, Mark. Yes, thank you to everyone who keeps us running and gets our stuff done the right way. That's awesome. All right, you guys, we are going to scoot along. If anyone else wants to shout out in the chat, please do so. And Nikki, if you want to shout out some specifics to Eddie, go ahead and get that done when you come back from the parallel universe. And Evie, you want to fill us in on some trainings that we have going on?
Yes, ma'am. I'm just going to go really, really fast. We still have scripts practice happening Tuesday through Fridays at 8:30 with SJ and Coach K on Fridays. Ignite session 5 this Friday. Please don't miss. Melinda is actually heading the Find and Win the Buyers session. So that's at 1 o'clock via Zoom. Tech Time with Coach K is still happening every Tuesdays at 3 and Wednesdays at 9:30. For all of our Bold attendees. Bold is on Monday. Again, that's Monday, not our usual Tuesday, but next week it's going to be Monday, November 8th. Same room, Bayview. If you have any questions, let me know. That's it.
Thanks, Evie. And you guys, anyone who has not been to Ignite, period, ever, you are invited to attend Ignite. And anyone who has been to Ignite and wants to remember how to work with buyers and win buyers the best way possible in this crazy market from a rock star like Melinda, who crushes her business, you should come too. You're all welcome. Broker Bob, tell us something good.
Thank you, Sarah. Hey, let's give some shout out to the people in the growth and launch coaching program that are doing really well. There's a site. Congratulations to Manuel. He opened another escrow and took a new listing. Great job. This kid's rocking it. And Lawrence opened another escrow. What's that, like 5 or 6 or 7, Lawrence? Great job. And then Katya took her first listing after being in the business for 2 weeks. Oh my God, that is a celebration right there. Love a listing. And Marty closed on his first escrow. Great job, Marty. Look at him all smiles. And Dave Caston got another BRE signed. And that's it. Okay, broker info this week. This popped up this week. An agent was inspection. All the contingencies have been released, and they got from the other side. We represented the buyer, or our agent did, and they got a termite clearance waiver from the listing agent side, basically saying, we want your buyer to sign this termite clearance waiver. And that also had hold harmless, that the buyer would not sue the seller after close of escrow. Now, the RPA had no mention of termite inspection or anything else related to termites. And as I already said, all the contingency release and everything was agreed to on the RR and the RRRR1. So thankfully, they sent that to us. And we advised them, no, thank you, Mark, for advising as well. We advised them, no, don't send that form. If they want a form, there's this other form called the buyer inspection. I have them here.
Buyer inspection waiver.
Buyer inspection waiver that basically says that the buyer is inspecting and waiving this certain inspection on the property. Now, here's why this is important. If Ashley's prediction is coming true, what she says, that inventory continues to shrink, and she predicts January will have the lowest available inventory ever seen in San Diego. My biggest fear as managing broker for you guys is that you're going to probably make a lot of offers out there waiving a lot of inspections. So it's important for you to have that buyer inspection waiver signed by the buyer if they're waiving certain inspections and you're writing a non-contingent offer. There's also another form that every buyer should sign. It's called the buyer inspection of elections. In other words, what inspections are they agreeing not to get? And what are they agreeing to get? And here's why this is significant, because whenever we have a deal that ends up in mediation, litigation, whatever, the buyer will always come back and say, the seller didn't disclose something, the foundation is cracking, they hit it, blah, blah, blah. The buyer actually has a duty to inspect the property that they are buying. And your fiduciary is to guide them to get those inspections, even if they don't get it. Your duty is to have the conversation, memorialize it in an email so that they're aware, hey, you've decided not to get this termite or foundation or whatever. And make sure that you have that conversation and make sure you write it up in an email that you actually spoke about that. So that protects you and the brokerage from being pulled into a lawsuit because you did your fiduciary and applied the right thing. So we'll talk about this at the next risk management meeting, which is coming up the first week of December. That's it. Back to you, Sarah.
Thank you, Robert. All right, two things. I am going to, you guys have seen me post about the real estate school. Keller Williams now has free pre-licensing real estate school for anyone looking to get into real estate. So if you guys know people or want to offer it as a value for people who you know would like to make a career change, there's a form to fill out to get access to the information. I'm going to drop that in the chat box. And then someone on leadership will take the conversation forward with that person and have them come through you into the company. So that's super important. Just opened. I want to share that really quick. And then moving along to Matt from Hawthorne and Albatross. Matt, I saw you before.
I'm here.
There you are. So give Matt a few moments, you guys, from one of our preferred vendor partners. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, thanks so much. Always a pleasure to be with you guys here at the KW Metro team. I'll be pretty brief. My name is Matt Krusko. I'm the acquisition analyst for Hawthorne and Albatross. We're the preferred investor with y'all's office, the preferred investor at a couple other Keller Williams offices here in San Diego. And we buy fixers primarily, and we do full renovations, full remodels, and then we resell them. So that's our business. We've been working with you guys here. I think it's the preferred investor for about 2 years now, maybe a little less, maybe a little bit more. And I want to say we've done probably pretty close to about 10 full deals with various agents in the office, from being contacted and saying, hey, I have a huge fixer. This one's going to have to sell to an investor. What can you pay? To close on that, buying that, doing a full renovation, and then typically relisting with the same agent and then selling it, So that's our business model. We love working with agents. We say you can double, triple commissions sometimes. And, we pride ourselves on being very flexible and very transparent buyers, which you don't always get with investors. But I know our owner, Jim, that's a huge thing we pride ourselves on, is giving you a number, sticking to the number. And if there's anything weird or questionable about the deal, we try to get those things sorted out and figured out before going into escrow, or we'll just be very upfront, like, hey, here's a couple things we have to get drilled down before we can fully commit to the deal. But that's our main goal, is just to be an easy buyer for you guys. And just think of us as a tool in your tool belt. We know we can't buy every deal, every fixer that you might have, but give us a call. If you have a tenant issue, we've had good luck working with tenants, setting up cash for keys or getting them out. We have a lot of experience with that. So if you have a tenant issue, call us. If you have repair questions, call us. We see a lot of strained situations, and we've worked through and been able to buy a lot of houses with strained situations. So please think of us, even if you don't think necessarily your seller wants to go with an investor. We know a lot about just kind of fixer and tenant situations in particular. And that's pretty much just what I wanted to communicate. We love working with your office and with agents from your office. And, we love doing deals with you guys. And in addition to working with you all on actual, fixer flips, we also have a lot of off-market inventory. And we have kind of an email blast list that I would love to get anybody who's interested on. We also have a kind of Google sheet that gets updated, keeps you in the loop with the off-market inventory that we have. I won't dive into details on any of the houses we have coming up, but we do, just to give you a sneak peek, have something coming up in Claremont on the Mount Streets very soon. We have something coming up in Bay Park, something in Encanto, in El Cajon, Oceanside. We have a few. So really, we have a bunch coming up all across the county. I'll put my contact information in the chat. And so feel free to reach out if you want to know more about the off-market stuff, if you have a deal, whatever. And that's it. Thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Matt. That's awesome. You guys, Matt's going to drop his contact info. If you're not getting the off-market property spreadsheet, or you want more info on that, or Dana for your specific questions, or if anyone else's questions that you're thinking of from what he's saying and interest in possibly working together with listings or buyers, just reach out, have a conversation. Don't be afraid to, make that connection by filling your email and get it started. And we also have Chris here today. Chris, I believe I saw it. There you are. Go ahead, Chris.
Good afternoon, Keller Williams, San Diego Metro. This is my first time speaking in front of you guys. My name is Chris Mukherjee. I am an estate planning and business law attorney here in San Diego, California. My practice is located in the La Jolla area. My focus primarily with my clients is working with clients with estates that may be considered high net estates with taxable issues with the new changes in estate tax exemption. We assist our clients in formation of comprehensive estate plans to avoid probate. But for whatever reason, if you have clients who do happen to be in probate, we're able to assist our clients in the probate process from beginning all the way to the end. The way we work with our realtors is we guide them along the probate process. We understand the probate process can be delicate for our realtors. We want to ensure that the properties are able to go through the probate process, get approval for our realtors to be able to sell the properties, and obviously affect your business in a positive way. We want to be a resource for your clients, whether it's in the formation of an estate plan, whether it's the probate process, or even trust administration, to expedite the process as much as possible. We understand that trust administration with creating a trust is a significantly faster process than somebody who has to go through probate. We encourage our realtors to make sure that when you're having your clients purchase properties or transfer properties, that the properties are in fact in a living trust. Otherwise, the risk is that if they pass away, we're dealing with the probate, which just slows the process down for everybody involved. Creation of a living trust enhances the process, expedites the process, and makes things significantly easier for the beneficiaries, for the families, for the realtors involved, and it's just better overall process for everybody. From a business law perspective, we help our clients with formation of their business, asset protection, creation of LLCs, creation of corporations, S corps, whatever's needed. I work with several realtors in the formation of their own entities. When you're ready to create your own S corporations, come to us, talk to us. We guide our realtors and let them know if they're in a position where they should or should not create an entity at that point. Several times realtors come to us and the numbers just don't make sense for us to advise them creating an entity. We'll tell them, hold off, wait a couple of months, let's see where things progress, especially if you were to call me this month, right? We're already at the end of the year. I'm discouraging my realtors from forming entities now because it doesn't benefit them now. I'd rather have you put that off till January. That way you're not paying your franchise tax fee for 2021 and rather just postpone that to 2022 at that point. So we're able to guide our clients, whether it's tech startups, medical businesses, dental, naturopathic, realtors, whatever you're looking for. Our goal is to assist our clients in creating and generating that general counsel business need for you throughout your real estate careers. Once again, Chris Mukherjee, I'll drop my contact in the chat box. If you have any questions, reach out to me. And there it is, actually right there.
Thank you, Chris. If you could still drop it in the chat box, that'd be awesome for your direct email. Absolutely. And whatever way you want the agents to connect, because it sounds like our agents should use you as a resource for their own personal businesses as well as client business to get their living trust done, get things taken care of, so they're not dealing with you with probate later on down the line.
Absolutely. Happy to help.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here and welcome to your first meeting.
Thank you very much.
You did great. All right, you guys, next up, we have Movement Mortgage. I saw lots of your pretty faces out there today. So who wants to speak first?
What's up, y'all? Thank you very much, Nikki, if you're still on the line for the shout out. I'm not going to get into that right now. I'll let you guys know all about that later on. But I did want to update you guys on the news. The Fed did come out just a couple of hours ago and give us an update on what their plans are for the next 6-12 months going forward. So basically, in a nutshell, you guys all know that they have been buying mortgage bonds. They've been buying treasury securities to kind of artificially keep the rates low, to try to get us through the pandemic and to keep, business expenses, because businesses borrow a lot of money, at a minimum. And so they basically announced that starting next month, they're going to start tapering. Do you guys remember that word, tapering? We've gone through this a couple of times in the past decade or two. And so what that means is that you have the biggest buyer of mortgage bonds, of treasuries in the world, is going to start buying less and less in a very systematic method. They've already told us. Right now, they're buying $120 billion a month in securities, right, between the two. And so what they're going to start doing is they're going to start buying $10 billion less in treasuries and $5 billion less in mortgage-backed securities until they are not artificially buying an excess amount that they're not normally buying, right? And so what does this mean? I created a little chart for you guys. Economics 101, right? So what's going to happen, and this is guaranteed, they've already told us, is that their demand is going to shift over and it's going to slide this way. And so the new demand every month is going to go down. And what happens when that goes down? The price of the bonds, right, is going to go down. What happens when the prices of bonds go down? Interest rates go up. It's a given. It's going to happen. It's a little bit already baked into the marketplace. And so that's why we didn't have such a knee-jerk reaction today with interest rates, but that's going to happen. And it's moving, it's going to continue going up. And just 3 years ago, you guys, we were at 5%. 2018, 5%. Do you know what happens when we go from 3% to 5% on your $1 million purchase? You just went from $5,000 to $6,000 on a monthly payment. So make sure that you're telling all your clients that, hey, if you're going to be buying it, you might as well lock in that rate because that rate's staying with you for 30 years. We don't know what's going to happen with prices, but that rate will be with you. So just some food for thought. That was my 2 cents for the day. Hopefully I stayed under my 2 minutes. I love you guys.
You did, Eddie. And I loved your chart. Thank you for your whiteboard drawing. And I'm super loving your pillow in the background as well.
That is Victor Havens right there all day long. I was a lucky winner.
I love that. All right. Justin, my darling, are you here? Or Nicole?
I'm here. Hi, guys. I don't have any fun charts or anything, but hey, I just wanted to one more time remind everybody about the county, the tax recorder's office. We're getting a lot of calls from buyers and sellers on closed transactions that the sellers are getting the new tax bills, even though they've sold the property. The buyers haven't received their tax bills, even though they've been in the property for 6 to 8 months. The county is behind about 6 to 8 months on updating their systems. So again, if you guys can go back through your portfolio and see on all of your buyers, just give them a call, ask them if they've got their tax bill. It's not delinquent until December 10th, but they are due now. So if I were you, we're going to start proactively doing that on all of our closed escrows. I'm going to call all of our buyers for this year just to make sure that they have the bill. But most of the time, it's the sellers that are calling us and saying, hey, I don't own this property anymore. I'm getting this tax bill. And we just have to explain to them that the county is behind on updating their side. But of course, they're not behind on issuing the new bills because, you know, that's the thing. But anyways, call me if you have any questions or concerns. Please feel free to give me a shout anytime. 619-865-9998. Bye, guys.
It seems like you should like zoop off into like outer space when you're like, bye guys, see you. Thanks for that. And that is good. You guys, your people have these questions. So take these little nuggets that you're getting from all of our experts on the topics and, you know, make down your note for what your talking point will be to your people. Okay. Justin, you might get some more phone calls about that talking point. You too, Eddie. And Nikki, did you get back in with us, my dear, or are you still stuck out in no man's land? I don't see you. Okay, Nikki does have a cool commercial update. If we can't get to it today, that's okay because it's something that's coming soon. It's not happening tomorrow or anything, but it will be coming as we round into the new year for the world of commercial. So I will hop on over her and head to Bridget Potterton to talk about all things Thanksgiving.
Okay, guys, I know you have all been waiting and waiting and waiting for months to find out, are we or aren't we going to have a Thanksgiving Metro potluck? And the answer is woohoo! We're back in business. Broker Bob has officially given us the okay to do our Metro potluck. We are going to have some safety guidelines, and just to kind of keep it a little bit more safe, we are asking that for now for our potlucks that we don't invite outside spouses or kids. So tell them they got to stay at home. You can bring them a leftovers or something. But for now, it's just going to be our Metro agents, and bring your mask. We're still going to work out the safety guidelines, but just bring your mask because we know that you will need to wear them at some point. We won't make you wear them while you're eating, but we will have some guidelines. So stay tuned. It's going to be Wednesday, November 17th. It'll be before the team meeting. So we're going to it'll be an interesting team meeting. It's going to be sort of in person, but sort of not. So we're going to work out those details. So just put it in your calendar for right now, Wednesday, November 17th. I'm so excited to see you all in person. We'll have more information soon. But if you want to start thinking about what you're going to bring, make sure it's individual. So no big sodas, do like soda cans or water bottles or food that you can have individually, so we can try not to touch each other's stuff too much. But more on that later. See you guys soon. Can't wait.
I love when we can end talking about touching each other's stuff. Okay, property pitches. Who has a property pitch to bring to the table today? Anyone? I think listings are going down. Maybe we're all out of listings. Can you hear me? Am I still here? Okay, I see heads nodding. So I'm still here, but no one is selling any new houses this week. Okay, I'm going to go leave you all and make a Bloody Mary, and I'll be back later. I saw a lot of listings go up last month. I guess we already sold all of them. And yeah, you have this moment for a property pitch, or I will move on to our star. Oh, Paul Tolentino has his hand up. Vinny, guys, just shout it out. I cannot see all your faces at one time. Go ahead, Paul.
All right, guys. So I have Oceanside, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,017 square feet, going live on November 12th for $464,900. Thank you.
Congratulations. Nice work. Maybe we can sell it before it gets there. Thank you. Vinny?
Yeah, so in about, I think probably 2 weeks, we're still finalizing everything. 2 weeks we'll go live. It's around 2,000 square feet roughly in Hillcrest, detached property, 1.2, offering a 3% commission to the co-op agent.
1.2 and a 3% commission. I like the sound of that. Who else? Nicole put some in the chat. Please do that as well, you guys, if you would like to. Anybody else have one to share out loud?
Yeah, I can go. This is Dan.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, so I have it coming soon in the next couple of weeks. It's in La Mesa, almost in San Diego. It's on the north side of the 8. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom property with a pool. Really cool space. It's going to be listed for around $795. We haven't finalized price yet. They're finishing up a few details on the property before we listed. And I did post it in the Facebook group. So there's a few photos that I took. I'll definitely have professional photos taken. It's an awesome property. So
awesome. Congratulations. Last call for anyone else who wants to speak now or forever hold their peace. All right. Anything else, please put it in the chat. And without further ado, I am proud to present to you our own homegrown and fabulous Vinny. You're up, dude.
Fantastic. Oh my gosh, so excited. Let's see the flood of people leave.
Get out of here right now.
All right. So yeah. Talking today about starting your own podcast. I know you guys probably love talking to yourself. Oh, thank you, Bridget. Exactly. Yes. So I know you guys love talking to yourself while you're in front of the mirror, the bathroom. I know Chris does it on a daily basis. He talks to himself. What's better than talking to yourself and let other people listen to it? All right. Yes, Bridget, I see you smiling over there. All right. So if you, oh, there you go. Robert's going to take a nap now. See the flood of people. Anyways, so it was something to happen to me a while back where I was like, I want to give back. I basically really disliked what happened on social media where we only see basically a glimpse into people's life. And you start weighing yourself, which is a problem that I used to have. And I know other agents probably had it, where they weigh their insides by people's outsides. And so they would see a post out there on social media and they go, oh my gosh, that person just sold the property. And they said it was so easy, right? And so I was just really deflated by that idea of it. But I knew a lot of business owners, other realtors, that it wasn't that easy for them. So I started a podcast called Road to Growth about overcoming adversity. And through that time, I've kind of learned on the go of building a platform. Anyone here has ever thought about starting their own podcast? Anyone? Possibly? Okay, there we go. So the idea is pretty simple. Right now, especially through StreamYard, before I did everything online, I actually bought the equipment. The equipment works really easy. It cost me about $350 for the mic and everything like that. But now with StreamYard, I don't do anything in person anymore. It's all through that platform. And I connect my StreamYard. I'll share it right now so you guys can take a look of it. So I do two things. So I get the audio and I upload it to Podbean. There's Anchor, and there's a lot of other platforms out there that you can use. And those platforms, can I share my screen?
You can, Vinny. Go for it, sir.
All right, so I'll if you have questions as we go, just keep me updated. So Podbean is the platform that I use. And so it gives you kind of data of who downloads it. So this is over the last 3 months. So I've had people in the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Bangladesh, France, some random areas where you have people down here like, what are they listening to? And so you upload it here, or this is the platform at least I use, and then it shoots it out to all the different like Google Play, Stitcher, Castbox, all those kind of platforms. So what I'll do now is, so these are my current live or platforms I'm setting up for interviews for tomorrow. And yeah, I got a couple, I got 4 tomorrow. Or 3 tomorrow. I got 3 tomorrow. So I'm interviewing these people. And so if you go into the studio, it's really simple. I set it up. I'll put a thing through Canvas, and I can show you that. So I have it lined up, kind of out there. My picture will show up on the screen, and their picture will show up on the screen, and then it shoots it out. So I have for my podcast going out to YouTube right here. If you can see on the screen right here, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitter. So Twitter switched it over from Twitch, or so this is Twitch, and then this is Twitter, but Twitter used to be Periscope. So anyways, a side note, but you can send this through StreamYard, through LinkedIn Live, through a lot of different platforms. I don't put all my things through LinkedIn Live or Facebook, but somehow I kind of switch it back and forth. So it goes live here, and then once the feed's done, you can go to past feeds, and then you can download the audio. And then from the audio, I basically use Adobe, and Adobe's really simple. You can basically take the audio from here, so you download the recording, upload it to Adobe, put your intro, put your outro if you want to change in your levels, and it's really, really simple to do. And then you export it as the audio, and then you upload that audio to whoever your platform you're going to shoot everything out to, and then you have a podcast. It's pretty. I know I'm making it very quick and very simple. My intro and outro, I went through Fiverr, and for the cost on Fiverr, it was $100 for my for intro and outro. Let me see. I think I can play it. Let me see here. I'll jump in here so you can at least hear the intro fast. I'm pretty sure it should be able to go. So
Welcome to the road to growth, success of an entrepreneur. We raise the bar. Learn firsthand from successful business owners and create your own path to success. I'm going to show you how great I am. It's time to hit the road to growth with team lead of the Enriquez Group, Realtor Vinny.
So that intro was through Fiverr, and I have an outro too that I use for my podcast. And again, it was $100, so really cheap. I mean, if you haven't been on Fiverr, go on Fiverr. You can get lost a little bit and find a lot of things. So yeah, those were kind of platforms. And then over probably the last 6 months, I've really looked at how can I leverage the podcast to incorporate with the business, because for the most part here, it doesn't have any kind of real relationship. I mean, besides the intro and the outro to real estate, most of the stuff is just basically entrepreneurs overcoming adversity. But now what I've done is stayed in contact with a lot of these people that I've had on the platform. I closed my first actual podcast lead about 2 months ago from there. And I have an active buyer that I'm working on that I interviewed through the podcast. I interviewed someone last week on the podcast, had a lunch appointment with them yesterday. They're looking at the idea of purchasing commercial space. So I'm slowly, about 6 months ago, I started looking at the idea of, I mean, these are people that might have real estate needs. And so especially the ones that are local, that's kind of more of a connection, but I do interview people all across the United States. I interviewed one of the Ferry brothers and a lot of random people that I probably would never came across, and even getting nuggets about my own business of how to really allow it to grow. Any questions that anybody kind of has about the platform, about putting their stuff together?
If somebody wants to start now, like you said, you bought the equipment in the beginning and now you use StreamYard, do you need the equipment still if you're doing it through StreamYard, or explain that a little more, please?
No, my equipment is basically getting really dirty. So yeah, I started because my original idea was I'm going to do everything in person and see them face to face and make it more kind of a one-on-one experience. But then I started getting requests from out of area to have the people interviewed, and I have a tough time saying no to people, right? Which is something I'm working on. And so I haven't interviewed people through there. It's really through StreamYard, having a mic and a camera, and that's really the extent of it. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward now. The cost of it, I mean, you're talking about probably for the year about maybe $500 is probably somewhere where I pay roughly about a year. Yeah.
So if somebody was like, oh my gosh, I love that, I want to do that too, they need to have a mic, meaning like any microphone that they're using, or they should have a specific kind of microphone?
Now there's people that I've had interview that look very professional, and they have a really nice mic and it kind of pops out and stuff like that. So that looks really nice. So if you want to look really clean, I would say get one of the really nice mics. If you just want to get the job done, just get a mic and do it. I mean, that's a mic, a camera, purchase StreamYard and just go forward, get an intro, get outro. There's so many different platforms, so many people that want to get interviewed, especially if you have a niche kind of focus you want to do. I think it'd be, I mean, very, very smart. Something that I've been thinking about it. So if anybody want to take this run on is I know people have done the videos of recording people of their transaction from start to finish, kind of what they're looking to do. But a simple idea, if someone really wants to make it real estate related, is having interview someone, their past clients, about why they wanted to buy a property, what they were thinking about, and then how the process was throughout the process. It could be probably something very simple and easy to do, but there's a lot of niches out there, and you're going to have a demographic that's going to want to listen. I mean, my downloads probably vary between 50 to 100 on the podcast for the audio. And then on YouTube, it really varies from 10 to 6,000. So that's, I think 6,000, roughly around 6,000 is probably my highest one that I got on YouTube. So I mean, there's someone out there that wants to listen to what you have, especially if the content's out there and it's consistent with it. So.
Vinny, I have a question. This is Bridget. Did you kind of come up with like a goal in mind? Because with podcasts, you can really do them at any time, right? I mean, you just record them. So do you have a goal of, I want to do, this many a month, or how do you come up with that?
So what I've been learning on the go of really trying to figure this out. And to answer your question, no, I basically so I put together an automatic drip, or we put together an automatic drip that goes out to people that have had on the podcast. And on the podcast, one of the questions on the automatic drip that goes out, the second email, I think it was, or maybe it was the first email, it goes out. I appreciate you being on the podcast. Thank you. If you know anybody that would be a great fit to be on the podcast, please connect us, right? And then, so that was a big avenue of how I was getting people on the podcast after maybe the first probably 15. And then I've had different PR companies that have reached out to me, because if they can find a channel that they can get their people on, they're going to want to use you as much as possible. So now I was getting a flood of people reaching out to me about getting on the podcast. So instead of me basically looking at my calendar, what I did, and I'll share my screen. Is my screen still shared? Yeah, it is. Okay. It's still shared, right?
Yeah. Yes, it's still shared.
All right. So here's our website. So what I did is we have it here. And so I give them the link now of this. And so they go book now. And then this gives it access to my calendar. And then they can book a time on there. So if they book a time there, and then whatever it is, and then they go next. So what I have done though, is I've cut out the window of time that I allowed. Before, I allowed it basically my whole day, and I got flooded with requests. So now I cap it out where I only do a certain amount of time on different days, so they can't basically flood it. And then what I did recently is to really make a focus of leveraging the platform. Let me see. Let me give you 1 second. Let me pull this up fast so you can see. I'll pull you. Once I set it up, they get an automatic email that goes out. But let me show you what the automatic email looks like, because I recently changed it. Sorry, bear with me for 1 second. Okay, here it goes. All right. So what I did is, so they get an email out like this, and so it gives them, it's their name, they put their email in there, they put their phone number in there. I give it information about basically what the podcast is going to be, audio and visual. Have them talk about what their adversity that they've gone through is. And then I have 2 other ones that are optional underneath here. Well, they subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if they know anybody that's looking for real estate help, well, they guide him in my direction. And then I put my real estate YouTube channel there too. So it's 2 optional ones, but it's been a way to at least not hit them over the head with real estate, but also remind them about the idea of real estate. And then, Judy asked a question in the chat. How do I promote the podcast? Well, I mean, the platform is really telling other people's stories and coming from curiosity. So for the most part, the PR companies that are reaching out to me, they want to basically get the content out there. So once the content's out, I basically relay that it's out to them. I send them over the links. So for example, let me see. I'll show you the email that I sent out to them, Judy. Okay, so So this is what I send out to them, Judy. I just tell them, hey, hope you're doing well. I'm excited to say your episode's out. Here's the link for the website. So then the website directs them to the real estate platform, but under a blog. And so then they can have access to any of the Amazon Music, Overcast, any of the platforms, the show notes of it, other links, and then back into the YouTube, the live one.
Who are these promo companies?
They're PR companies. So PR companies reach out to me.
How do you find them?
They find me.
Well, how do they find you? Just because you're on YouTube, or I don't understand.
So because I've put out enough content, and I've had other people that have reached out, they've now started just to reach out to me, and it's just kind of been word of mouth. There are platforms. Let me try to think. There's when I first was starting out, I think it's Pod.
Like, for example, if somebody's starting out, they don't have the connections you have yet.
Yeah.
So how would they go about it?
So I went through a lot of YouTube, a lot of Facebook platforms, but I think it's Podcast Bookers. I think this is one of the ones. Yeah. So there's a lot of platforms. I'll share my screen again. There's a lot of platforms like podcast booking. I mean, a lot of these ones you can find them where they look like I get an email. I think it's from this company right here. So they get paid by the person that wants to be on, and then they have a list of people, and then you can go on there after you've got your podcast approved by Apple Tunes, Google Play, Stitcher, all those different platforms. Once you get on there, then they're gonna have a list of people that you can look through to see if any of them would be a good fit for your platform. Also, too, there's a lot of Facebook groups out there that are looking for guests. So if you have a niche of what you're looking for, there's gonna be a lot of probably people out there that are gonna want to be on it. It's just a matter of getting the word out there. Now, the first 3 people you have on your podcast, it's gonna probably be word of mouth on that, because you can't, for the most part, you want to at least have 3 episodes recorded before you submit your podcast to get approved by all the different platforms, Google Play, Stitcher, Castbox, all the different ones. So you want to at least have 3 episodes recorded before you submit it. That make sense?
Not really. Well, it'd kind of be nice to have a blow-by-blow plan, because right now you're kind of deep into it, so it's kind of hard to.
Well, what would you want to talk about, Judy?
Well, for example, you remember last year I did a Zoom call. It was called How to Navigate Real Estate During COVID.
Okay.
And I had lots of great content. It just wasn't on a podcast.
Okay.
So but I really didn't know how to promote it well enough. So I mean, for example, if I were doing something, I'm not doing that now, but if I were doing something of that sort, I really wouldn't know how to begin. Obviously, I have to put it on a podcast format first of all. So it's like what you're explaining. To some of us are familiar, but some of us maybe we need more of a blow by blow.
Well, again, it goes to, I mean, so what I do an interview platform, right? I do an interview platform for the podcast. So it's leveraging basically the guests to get the word out, right? Now, it sounds like for you, you're going to do basically, I guess, a singular conversation piece, or are you going to do a singular conversation piece where you're talking to the masses, or are you going to try to interview other realtors?
I will. I interviewed somebody on each call.
Okay. So what kind of people are you interviewing?
Anything to do with the real estate business. And in that case, last year, I'm not doing it this year, but last year it had to do with the effect of COVID on the real estate business.
What my suggestion would be is to have a different realtor from different communities outside of San Diego and interviewing them. And we have access to KW Command. So you can basically find other Keller Williams agents all over the United States, all over the world. And each episode, right, interview basically that realtor. Now you're helping build your referral business, right? Also, you're going to basically make them the center of attention on this platform and have them share it on their social media, just like you will, right? So now you're leveraging basically that realtor to share out your content. And now you're basically the person that has this mic that can get everyone get the eyes on these other realtors. That make sense?
Is that the model that you followed when you started out?
The model I followed was similar, but it wasn't directed at real estate agents. I had real estate agents on the platform. The individual I have on there is entrepreneurs, so someone that owns their own business, so it could be a realtor that has overcome adversity, right, and is willing to talk about it. That's basically my ideal guest.
So how did you get them to promote? Because my people did not.
Some people do, and some people don't. I mean, I think if they feel, I mean, some people come from abundance and some people come from scarcity. So if the people that you're interviewing feel that by sharing your content, right, maybe they're in the same market as you, right, they might feel that, well, if I share Judy's content, I'm going to make my people go out and follow Judy, not me.
It wasn't my content. I was interviewing them.
I know, but what area? Where are these agents based out of?
It wasn't just agents. There were insurance people. There were other types of entrepreneurs. Anybody involved in it, like title people, escrow people, all kind of people like that.
It sounds like it's also like, Vinny, in your situation, you're asking people to promote and share and do. And Judy, perhaps when you were doing it, your intention wasn't to promote and share, and it was like a Zoom call, not a podcast. So when you're sharing a podcast, you're like, hey, there's some glitz to it.
I was asking everybody to promote. No, I'm just saying I had a problem with it. That's why I want to try to find out what the secret is here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any secret. It's the same thing, I think, in real estate, right? We're asking for the business. We're basically laying the groundwork for the conversation, saying, hey, if I have you on the podcast, right, will you be willing to share this content when it's all said and done? And if they say no, well, is that someone that you want on the platform? If they say yes, well, then if they don't do it, now you go, hey, we had a conversation beforehand. I just want to follow up. What changed?
Okay.
That would be my suggestion. But
I love that suggestion, Ben. And let me ask you, because what Judy brings up is interesting. If someone had something that they've done in the past couple of years or ever on YouTube or on Zoom recorded or something, can they take that and transition that into a podcast episode?
You know what? That is a very smart idea, Sarah, because if you want, and I don't know if it's necessarily the case anymore, but I know a couple of minutes back when I was looking into that I think I saw on one Facebook, or maybe it was a year ago, but what people would do to drive to get a higher ranking on those platforms would be to send maybe, I don't know, eight pieces out there, right? But send it to their whole database to listen and download once they hit. And now basically it looks like it's a hot new show. And if it ranks high enough, you're going to basically get those automatic downloads because now you're going to be ranked on those different platforms. So yes, if you feel there's good enough content, I would clean it up a little bit, whatever it might be, put an intro, put an outro, and then get it approved. And then the next episode after it gets approved, send it to your whole database and get people to share it. And so you can kind of move the ranks on it.
So I know I can get it from Zoom into YouTube, but I wouldn't know how to make it a pod.
It's yeah. So there's let's see. Still trying to think. If you give me once. There's a So I use Adobe. Not Adobe Reader. You can Google it. It's let's see. I have it on my screen.
Well, Vinny is looking for the answer. We have a few minutes left. Does anybody have any other questions at all about the process? Vinny started this a while back. You just hit 2 years, Vin, is it? Or January will be 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years. Adobe
And
Premiere. That's what I use.
Adobe Premiere.
Yeah.
That's okay. And now you've closed your first business directly from the podcast.
Yeah, about again, it was like I was doing it. I mean, to be as transparent as possible, I started the platform, I mean, to help other people, but I started to realize that I wasn't in the right state of mind myself personally. And hearing what other people have gone through with their own struggles. I mean, I've told this before because it's probably been maybe 2.5 years when I first started it. When I first started it, I was, going through a very bad breakup. I was going through a lawsuit. I was going through a lot of different stuff, and I didn't realize the effect that the podcast had on myself, mental mindset. And it basically, I would see other people that have gone through some horrible things and hearing their stories and how positive they were about those stories and how they kind of came through it. And it would allow me to kind of take nuggets away from it. And then maybe about 6 years ago, or not 6 years, 6 months ago, 7 months ago, somewhere around there, I started going, well, I'm doing this and I've gained a lot personally and emotionally from this podcast. Yeah, it'd be nice to get business out of it. And so I kind of changed the mindset of going, okay, well, how can I incorporate this thing right here and this thing right here and bring them together to allow me to grow business? Because I realized that this would be a strong thing to keep doing, yet we all have to make some money somehow, right? And if I saw two different worlds, one that I'm getting emotional gratification and financial gratification and they're separated, I had to find a way to bring them together. So that's been something over the last 7 months or so that I've really tried to mesh together. Yeah.
That's amazing. And that's what we say is where you find the magic. That's where the magic happens, when you can take something that's emotionally giving you value and growth and then combine it into your business. Lead generating does not have to be cold calling all day unless that's something you love, and then please go do it. But the best results come like you built yourself emotionally, and then you get to build into the business and combine the two. And now it's just a natural, the organic growth that happens because it's time on task over time, right? It didn't start out like this on day one, and now 2 years later, you're an international superstar.
I don't know about that.
I coined that. But it's cool. Like, and I know what your people are saying. Like, well, I didn't even start yet. So on day one, what does it feel like? Well, on day one, anything feels weird. And so if this is something you're interested in doing, make your list. Ask any questions offline. I'm sure you're open to taking questions offline about that.
I've had two people I've actually interviewed that have wanted to build their own podcast after talking and kind of going through, and we stayed in contact. I know one of them is still doing it strong right there, but I've walked through with multiple people how to do it. So if someone's wanting to do it, I'm all about giving back. If someone's really going to put the effort in, if someone's just basically wanting to talk and find an excuse, I'm probably not going to be as giving. But if you really want to build something, it doesn't matter if it's real estate, if it's podcast, whatever it is, I'm always there.
I love that, Ben. Thank you so much. And I love that you're actually getting business from it now. That will just continue to grow. And now that you've found the magic formula, you'll continue to have success with it. And you're changing people's lives and energies by promoting them, sharing their story, and giving people hope. We all know when you put your problems in a big pile in the middle of the room with everyone else's, a lot of times we grab our own problems back and keep going that way. So I love that mindset perspective added in there. You guys, we have 1 more minute for Vinny. Does anybody have any last questions you've been thinking about this whole time and just afraid to ask? If not, then I will give you an extra minute of your life back. And I will say thank you, Vinny, for coming on and sharing. You guys, he's shared this news with market centers all over the country, a couple other places. And, we're lucky to have him here with us. So if you're really interested, really intentional, and have a plan that you're interested in making forward, reach out and ask the questions and go download his podcast and listen and boost his scores too.
That'd be fantastic, guys. I've had everyone on there. I've had real estate on there. I've had basically a financial advisor. I've had porn stars on there. I've had basically a variety of different people on there. So it doesn't matter what kind of things you guys get into. Feel free to download. I've had over 180 episodes, I think it is. So definitely,
awesome.
If you have a particular thing you want to look for, I probably had someone interview someone on there. So just tell me.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you. Thanks for showing up today and sharing.